Welcome back to Writing Done Right. I am Thomas Borowski, an author and a technology consultant, and today we do want to spend a little bit of time talking about the new change to Amazon's royalty system, which is coming up in June 10th. Now, this only applies to books priced under $9.98 or $9.98 and below, under $9.99. And what we want to do here is just have a brief look at the change in the policy and what it means. So they're going to be doing a print and royalty rate change June 10th, 2025 for books less than $9.99. Now, some people have said, well, will they decrease the other ones soon too? It's possible. I don't know. Let's just take it one step at a time. So what's going to happen is the royalty rate on these titles will decrease from 60% to 50%. And so if you have a book priced under $9.99, those royalties are going to change. So I have my Kings of All Creation series. Hezekiah's Prayer is the second book in the series. And these books here in this series are priced at $5.99. So they are going to fall under this. Now, all of my other books are over $9.99. So these three books are the only ones I have to worry about. And so what's happening here is as they do their specific change here, what's going to happen is any copy sold after June 10th of 2025 is going to have a reduced royalty. So I went ahead and pulled up the printing cost royalties here. So this is a paperback book. It is black and white with cream paper. It is 5 by 8 inches on Amazon.com, and my page count is at 100, and my list price is $5.99. So as of right now, I make $1.29 every time we make a sale. After June 10th, if I keep the price the same, my estimated royalty is going to be 70 cents per copy sold. So I will have lost close to 60 cents, or 50% of my actual royalty will actually be lost after this change. And so that really is a little bit of a bummer, and it begs the question, what am I going to do? Am I going to change the prices? Am I going to change the prices absolutely everywhere, or just over on Amazon? These are questions I have myself, and I'm asking myself, and I have roughly 3 weeks to figure it out. Now, the good news is I have all of the files for all of the book covers, so if I need to change the price, I can update the book cover as well. Updating a book cover on Amazon is free, so I don't have to worry about anything. What I will do is I will generate a new barcode, replace the barcode, which has the new price involved, and I will increase the cost. Now, the question I have is, what am I going to set the price at? I could go up to the $9.99 to keep the higher royalty cut, but now I have to question if a book that I was recently selling at $5.99 now goes to $9.99. That's quite a bit of a hit. If I want to just make the same amount of royalty per sale, how much is that going to cost? These are all questions that you might want to have. So let me explain first how you get your royalty cost. So on Amazon, your royalty cost is taken by your retail price times the royalty rate, and then they subtract the production cost. That's not your retail price minus the production cost, and you guys split what's left. That's not how this works. So in this particular book here, pulling up a little calculator. So right now, if my retail price is $5.99 and the current retail royalty rate retail is 0.6, now that's $3.59, and we'll just forget about that 4 right there. Now we subtract the production cost, which is $2.30, and you'll see this is where I get my royalty of $1.29. Now, of course, your production cost is listed over here. Notice that your production cost is not changing. So they're not changing the royalties because of a cost change in the printing, or they're just basically taking a bigger cut. They're keeping the print cost the same and taking a bigger cut out of you is what's going on. So you can get this in your pricing calculator, will be in your system. So you'll want to price out your book, and it doesn't matter what I change the price to. If I change the price to $8.99 and hit submit, then it doesn't change the production cost, but it will change, your minimums. It'll change your royalties and things like that. So I started asking myself this question: what happens if I wanted to figure out what retail price I want to set it at if I want to keep the royalty the same? So let's assume I did some basic algebra here. Sorry, guys. I was a geek in college. I was actually a chemistry professor. So, manipulating mathematical equations is some neurotic thing I like to do. But what I want to do is what is the retail price if I want to keep my royalty the same? So let's go ahead and clear our calculator here. And let's say I want to keep that same royalty price, which is $1.29. Now we need to add to that the production cost, which again is not changing, $2.30. And now divide that by the new royalty rate is $7.18. So I would need to price the book at $7.18 in order to keep the same royalty. Now that's not a particularly good number there. So let's do two scenarios. Scenario one, let's just bump the price of the book $1, going from $5.99 to $6.99. Let's see what that does. So we'll go on back to here and let's just change our list price to $6.99. That's $1 more than we were selling it for. So a book that was been out for about 5 years now. Josiah's Sanctification, 6 or 7 years now. Joash's Influence, about 3 or 4 years now. That book going up $1 to account for a drop in royalty. What I would do is, if I were to make that change today, then the estimated royalty goes up a little bit. But now you'll notice that after the royalty change, I will have lost 9 cents. Losing 9 cents is a whole lot better than losing 60 cents per copy sold. So that is probably a reasonable thing. Let's say, though, that just to keep the 99-cent stuff, let's go ahead and set that at $7.99 and see what that does. Now what happens is my current royalty before June 10th would go up almost, not quite double, but pretty close. But now I would have, after this pricing increase, I would have made an extra, what is that, about an extra 60, 7 minus 3, so 40 cents per copy. So that's actually a little bit better. It will have cost the consumer $2 more per book. I only make 40 cents more. That means that Amazon doing this thing, if I want to just keep my royalties as similar as I can, well, Amazon takes a much bigger cut of my books. And that is one of the things that causes some people to be a little bit perturbed at some of these big companies. Now, is this horrible? Probably not. The reality is production costs have gone up. They're only changing this on the smaller books because they tend to lose a little bit more money on the distribution of the cheaper books than they do from the bigger ones because of the way that calculation is measured. It does make a little bit of sense that they would have a smaller royalty on these. So I am not decided yet if I'm going to change my prices or not. I'm leaning towards I probably might. Just those books are small. I think the $7.99 price point is still not bad. I will still lose that royalty rate, that royalty conversion. But oh well, maybe that's worth it to get the information out. Now I could go crazy. Let's see what happens if I do $9.99 on it just to keep that higher royalty, which is the minimum price I'd have to keep for the higher royalty rate. Then that one there, I would like more than double my royalty. That sounds like greedy territory for a guy selling Christian books. I don't know. It wouldn't be bad. Honestly, $9.99 for a 100-page quick, concise read book today is actually not unreasonable with the current market. I'm not going to go that high personally. I've always priced these books a little bit lower. I've always taken a lower royalty so they were a lot more affordable. Now I am going to bump the price in them. I'm not going to bump the price that much. Now let's talk about the next thing here. And this is something that if you're looking at getting a book into print here soon, particularly if you're doing like an a la carte or an indie publishing type thing, you need to make sure you have access to a high quality print copy of the back of that book. Because if you do need to do one of these price changes, the absolute best way to do it is going to be make a change to the cover. Because remember, your book cover should have a professional ISBN, and we've talked about how to get that. And that ISBN should have the, I think it's called the UAE or UAC5. I forget the exact title of that little barcode next to the bigger barcode, because that embeds the pricing information. If you want to go into a bookstore and sell your books, they need that thing on the back of their cover in order to scan it properly into their system. So you do want to make sure you have that professional code, which means if I change the retail price of the book on one platform, I'm going to have to change the book cover to reflect that change on that retail price. Otherwise, I'm going to cause problems for anybody who might want to sell my book in their bookstore. Now, the second factor I have to ask myself, and I have been, is this. And if you want to answer any of these or give me your thoughts in the comments, I'd really appreciate that. Do I change the prices just on Amazon, or do I say, you know what? Amazon's doing this to me. Let me jack up the price a little bit on Amazon customers because of what Amazon is doing and keep it at the lower price everywhere else. That sounds interesting too. I did look around. I could not find anything in the terms and conditions that requires you to sell the book cheaper on Amazon than anywhere else. I do know that in some business markets, if you're selling your product, non-books, but general products in multiple places, if it's on Amazon, Amazon really insists it's the lowest price. And if it's not, they tend to hide your listings. I have seen evidence of that. I don't know if they do that on books or not. I have no idea. And then I get into this question and ask myself this. Well, the reality is Amazon has always given me a bigger cut of the royalty than my other distribution partners, although it's only by 5%. So this means that if you buy my book at the other distributors, I am now getting a 5% more royalty to order it from anywhere but Amazon than Amazon. So it makes sense that if Amazon wants to do this, maybe, just maybe, it is worth bumping the price just on Amazon. So I would really be interested in my viewers' thoughts on this. Should we price it up to $7.99 from $5.99 to give me more of a royalty? Should we go up to $6.99 and split that difference between myself and Amazon, which would only cost to go up? Should I keep it exactly the same? Or, hey, who out there thinks I should just go full-fledged $9.99? Let me keep that 60% royalty because it's my 60% royalty. I don't think I'm going to do that because I really have always wanted these books very affordable. So I've wanted to keep the price a little bit lower, and I understand I get lower royalty for that. I'm just not excited about a 70-cent royalty on a book that you're paying like $6 for. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about all that in the comments down below. And with that, you can follow along on the channel here, Writing Done Right, and tell your friends we are very close to being able to actually make some money on the ads that run on this channel. That would actually be excellent. As much as I'm not a huge fan of ads, it does give me an extra boost in income. We are to the point where you can do like a super tips and things like that in super chats if I ever do a live show. But seeing that ad revenue would actually help support the channel a lot. I might be able to put more into the channel if it's actually generating a little bit more revenue. So let me know about your thoughts on those questions. And with that, thanks for watching, and I hope that we have helped you to get your writing done right.